Okay, fantastic. Good afternoon and good morning, everyone, from all around the world, wherever you may be. It's my pleasure today to introduce our first panel of the day, looking at how the cloud networking market's going to be adapting to the home working revolution. We have with us a range, or two people, but hopefully a third joining us shortly, from service providers across Europe, talking around kind of what their experiences are and what they're looking, what they've been doing in this space. So I'm not going to take their instructions. I'm going to hand it over to them. If they could do, and maybe Soumya, if we could start with you first, and maybe a quick introduction of yourself and your company, and kind of how Telefonica tackled home working and what services you offered or started to offer due to that.
Okay, afternoon, Dom, and thank you for having me as one of your panelists today. Really pleased to be here. So my name is Soumya Unni, and I head up the Unified Comms and Collaboration Solution Architecture team at Telefonica O2. Just as a brief introduction to O2 Business, we specialize in providing a range of solutions for our business customers across mobile, UC, collaboration, productivity, security, as well as IoT. And obviously, being a mobile network provider, mobility is at the core of everything we do. And with our business solutions, we are enabling our customers to work more productively, more flexibly, and securely from anywhere using any device, essentially. And just to touch on your first question around what we've observed in terms of the businesses that we work with, I think it's fair to say that the last 10 months has been, completely unprecedented. And what we've seen is clearly the survive, revive, and thrive wave. So the initial few weeks were absolutely about establishing the basics and restoring business continuity, and reacting to the demands of the new ways of working, essentially. And what we're seeing now is a period of optimization where businesses are evaluating the initial measures that they've put in place, perhaps in some haste. And again, from a collaboration perspective, we've been working with our customers in establishing best practices and looking at the long term, essentially, the long term strategy, so they can continue providing an enhanced employee experience, customer experience, as well as ensuring security and compliance.
Great. And Tim, if I could ask a question to yourself as well.
Yeah. So, hi everyone.
Can you hear me? Okay. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so yes, hi everyone. I'm Tim Schmit. I'm based in Belgium, and I head up the product marketing team. Yeah, I head up the product marketing team within Destiny. And what we do is we provide secure cloud communication services to our customers to allow them to connect their employees together, but also connect their employees to their customers in a secure and efficient fashion. We do that in a cloud-first principle, meaning whatever we do, we try to do it out of the cloud first, and based on that, we just see what the most appropriate solution would be for our customers, using many different silos that we have that include private networks, internet, mobility, security, and cloud communication services.
Fantastic. And Laurent, hi there. Sorry if you're getting started with you. We're just asking our panelists to do a quick introduction to yourself, your business, and kind of how you've tackled home working, what services you've had to offer throughout that period.
Sure, thank you, Dom. So I'm part of Orange Business Services. So working in the connectivity business unit of Orange Business Services. So in charge of product management and marketing for services around SD-WAN, SD-LAN, application performance. And so as part of this portfolio, we are working on the transformation of the network and the connectivity for our customers to meet the requirements linked to the digital transformation, moving to this cloud application and to this digital native mindset, I would say. And as part of this, the working from home is obviously something that is very important. And we have been working on the redefinition, review of our portfolio in this area. We had some products which were there on the market since quite a long time, but now we have been working to integrate them fully in the context of this SD-WAN transformation. So looking at it as a complement to SD-WAN, and we are launching a new solution which we call flexible application access. And as you see in the name, the idea is really to provide access from user to an application and to manage the service on an end-to-end basis, consistent with what we are doing on more traditional connectivity for sites, for traditional enterprise sites with SD-WAN. We will come back on this later, I believe.
Fantastic. So you obviously, we've seen this move to home working and people driving there. Do you agree with this trend that customers are looking for more support in home working, or are they going themselves and finding this, or are they coming to you and asking for support for home working, both from a network perspective and maybe a collaboration perspective as well? Tim, do you want to start off with us there?
Yeah, sure. I mean, being a service provider, I think it's actually most likely the first point where organizations look to, because if they're not providing the cloud communications platform already today to allow their end users to connect from anywhere to the cloud communication platform, or whether we're providing an internet connection on which we could easily, implement some kind of SSL VPN type of solution to allow their home workers to connect to their corporate applications. So indeed, it's something where customers are really looking for their service provider to assist. And like mentioned by Soumya, I think initially after the first COVID-19 lockdown, it was like a survival mode. It was a wartime, basically. I mean, everyone was just, trying to upgrade their internet connections, getting the appropriate licenses for the SSL type of solutions. So it's really a wartime. I think today we are in like a more of consistent state where organizations are now looking into, okay, what would be for us the next step? Would it be to further improve this home working solution that we currently have in place, or would it be like adding security layers on top of it because we feel that that's something we should move into, and that's really something where they're looking to their service providers to come up with solutions and with advice to accommodate that. Yes.
Soumya, did you see that trend coming through as well, of wanting that support from their service provider, or were you having to proactively go out and offer these kind of solutions to your customers?
No, absolutely the former. And I think from our perspective, especially talking from a collaboration point of view, one of the key trends that we've seen is the drive for adopting team collaboration solutions, Microsoft Teams in particular. So we heard from Microsoft on how they've seen 2 years worth of Teams growth in the space of 2 months when the lockdown initially kicked in. And their meeting minutes going up to 2.7 billion minutes per day. And the statistics are staggering, and that's exactly what we've observed as well. And especially, I think organizations initially were looking to leverage all of their existing capabilities. And in this instance, they were looking to understand what more they could do with their existing Office 365 licenses. So what we've seen is businesses rolling out Teams for their wider user base, primarily for internal collaboration to start with, just to get their teams working effectively when based remotely. And what they're doing now and looking to our support is in terms of how they can leverage the Team's capability even more, extend that even further, and potentially look at replacing or minimizing some of their legacy PBX and voice costs. And this is exactly where O2's expertise in voice solutions can help in terms of enabling those voice features for Microsoft Teams, reducing any administrative burdens for the customer, again, providing a fully managed service with resilience and a guaranteed quality of service. Again, all of this with a very simple, straightforward consumption-based pricing model, and that's been the primary, conversations that we've been having with our customers from a collaboration point of view.
Wonderful. And Laurent, just looking a bit more at the kind of, you've obviously launched this new product. Did this have a impact? Obviously, there's a lot of businesses out there we're looking at deploying SD-WAN solutions into their offices. Have you seen demand fall for solutions like that, or has it still been stable as people look to come back to the office environment?
No, I think so. So we have seen, of course, we have seen the crisis, and the lockdown has been really the time where companies have started to realize the importance of these working from home solutions. What we have seen is that most of the solutions that were in place were based on physical platform, physical devices, so with limited flexibility, limited capability to evolve. Also, and this is in line with what Soumya was saying, it was not meant to support applications like Teams or so lots of bandwidth, lots of video and that. So globally, it was really all usage, salespeople on the fly accessing to some applications, but not the full usage of working from home. And in fact, yes, so we think that today what we see is that companies realize that things are changing, and this is coming very important, and they want to move to some much more consistent solution to support working from home. So we had the crisis, so we had to evolve very rapidly. The solution that we built, in fact, we started to build this way before, with the idea that okay, things are moving. The usage is moving to cloud application. So very important things that we see here is the capability to simplify the connectivity for the user, to simplify also the security aspect. So easing facilitating the connectivity, including the possibility to have some double factor authentication, so some high-end security capabilities, and also to manage the security on an end-to-end basis, because usually, okay, working from home and remote access solution was about an SSL tunnel to a data center. Now it is about securing any kind of traffic, so securing traffic to internet, securing the traffic to the corporate network. So everything has to be secured. And that's why in this solution, we also included, the idea for us was also to include this security part that is, of course, securing the access to the network, to the corporate network, but also security for the internet. So we have integrated in the solution a web proxy capability and a web security solution to secure all the traffic, and including traffic to any kind of web platform, cloud web collaboration platform located on internet. So the idea is ready to support the same level of security for the enterprise as they have in a classical corporate environment.
Great. And just thinking through that a little bit more, deploying around this, I'd like to get all of your views on this question, looking at kind of access within countries. And Laurent, maybe you could talk around France, and Soumya around the UK, and Tim, maybe the Benelux regions. Yeah. Is access good enough in these countries now to support all these new technologies, all these cloud services we're using at home? What have been some of the kind of challenges that you faced as an organization in enabling better cloud applications on more remote networks? Laurent, do you want to start?
I think globally, if I may start, yeah, I can. If I may, so if I look at the technologies and the evolution in France, and probably see for other countries in Europe, but globally things are moving very quickly with this with the deployment of fiber. So things are going quickly. So we don't have fiber everywhere yet, but it's in the next 2-3 years, I believe that almost 99% of the people will be able to use fiber. At the same time, we have also technologies like 4G that is working quite well, and we'll see also the 5G coming. So globally, the access technology are coming. Of course, there are still some people today, and it happened during the crisis, some people who were facing issues to connect. I have also people in my team located in Egypt, for example, and they are still facing issues with DSL connectivity and connection, which are not able, for example, some people are not able to use the voice. Even in France, we have still have that. So the topic still exists. I think it will move quickly in Europe. That being said, it doesn't prevent people to have some issues and quality issues. And talking about unified communication tools, Teams, and so on. It's probably still very difficult for the user to understand when he has a problem where it's coming from. So we have lots of issues with Wi-Fi extender in the home. We have this kind of issues. We have issues also with the flow going through the corporate network and then to this unified com platform. So it's still quite difficult to manage that. And also what we believe and the need also for our customers is to help them understanding and identifying the issues, the performance issues on an end-to-end basis. So even with a good, fiber connection, sometimes I get issues on a WebEx voice, which is extremely difficult to understand what is the source. So we are also moving in this area with tools, application performance management tool that will help indeed to identify, qualify the issue, and help our customers solving this kind of issues, which remain very, very important.
Tim, would you say that's the same in the Benelux region in terms of fiber rollout? Is that still the challenge, or are we looking at other technologies to help on this?
Well, I think in Belgium and the Benelux region as a whole, I think we're a bit spoiled in terms of broadband quality. I think the VDSL coverage in that region has been already quite okay. But even in Belgium, we do see the surge to more bandwidth and to fiber-based connections, fiber to the business, fiber to the home. So yeah, the incumbent providers, they have been started to implement fiber to the business to accommodate that, increase of bandwidth. Because definitely it's been a topic for quite some years now. But I think definitely what COVID made here and to stay is the video. Video is here to stay. I think the video adoption never has been this big, which of course demands a lot of bandwidth. Like Laurent says, it also demands some. It brings in some new issues in having a WebEx session and quality issues, and how do you accommodate with that with people working remote and having to control that on your corporate network as well. So I think in Belgium and the Netherlands, the fiber rollout, is going well, and it will definitely accommodate that new trend coming with video and that internet first shift as well that we see. People, organizations will move their applications to the cloud first, and then afterwards consider to connect their branch offices to those applications.
And Soumya, obviously from Telefonica's point of view as a mobile-first company, are you bringing mobility into this in 4G? Is that looking like a 4G failover instead of fiber? How are you using your mobile network to enable better home working?
Just to perhaps quickly touch on the fiber plan again from a UK perspective, we've heard that Openreach announcing copper switch off in a few years' time, and therefore, that will certainly drive the Fiber Cities campaign, accelerate that, and obviously, that's much better for a high bandwidth, low latency application, especially from a collaboration point of view. And I guess. One of the other things that I wanted to touch on was the fact that in terms of how collaboration technologies are deployed more and more recently, the vendors are looking to an over-the-top model, software as a service model, and therefore it's all based on local internet breakout rather than centralized breakout. So I think the reliance on centralized internet breakout is diminishing anyway, and it sort of automatically connects the users to the closest edge location to the vendor's cloud. But the reliance on the last mile is still absolutely relevant. So until such point that we've got reliable fiber connectivity, that will always be a challenge. Again, in terms of touching back on the mobile side of things, again, the reliance is on applications. So when users switch to mobile apps, it just relies on your data connection, and we're doing a number of different things with customers in terms of providing them bolt-on capabilities, which offsets their data consumption on collaboration applications, data usage, effectively, various flexible tariffs that we're looking to offer to the customer as we sort of explore our way through this flexible working and home working revolution.
I think that's going to be really important, of trying to work out how different people are going to work, and making sure that if fiber is not good enough, mobile access is next best, or in some cases mobile access might be the first best solution that people take there. So really interesting to see how that market's going to develop. Certainly we've seen a lot of people selling 4G backup routers to help people from a home working perspective. do we think, if we looked at kind of the home as a smaller site, do we see that homes will be turning into small branch offices with routers and SD-WAN and maybe companies paying for home workers broadband? Do you think this is a practical solution in the long term, or do you think it's still going to be, if you're working from home, you're expected to buy consumer grade internet? Tim, what's your view on that?
Well, I think there will be a whole spectrum of use cases there. I think many organizations will still depend on their employees to buy and source, let's say, just a consumer-based internet connection. And for those that really demand high quality with a decent service level agreement and perhaps with some 4G backup solutions, I think definitely some of them will consider to buy a service provider provided internet-based connection to accommodate their employees to work in a quality way from home. I think definitely there's a market there, but like anything, there will be a whole spectrum of different use cases depending on how important is an employee to be able to work from home. Is he working in a call center? Is it vital for him to always be connected and all of that? So it's a whole spectrum, but I think definitely many organizations are now looking into it, or at least looking into how a service provider could help them in assuring connectivity for this home worker to get to the corporate applications, whether it's a cloud communications platform that is in the cloud, whether it's Salesforce, whatever. And I think there as well, an SD-WAN type of solution might be something to consider, to use that on top of any B2C internet connection, and to do that in a secure fashion. SASE most likely will complement that type of connectivity solution anyway.
Yeah. And Laurent, that's something you're looking at as well?
Yes, indeed. So in fact, I would agree that in most of the case, the user will still pay for his broadband connection, but there might be some interest indeed to deploy a kind of light SD-WAN at the home, at the user's home, and these probably different. We can see different reasons, different drivers. Again, it's probably about the end-to-end performance on one side and the end-to-end security on the other side. So having a dedicated, for example, Wi-Fi network to support the enterprise and the business requirement. And being someone on the same Wi-Fi network as the one you have in any office of the company, and we see that lots of topics and issues are coming from Wi-Fi. So coming with a corporate solution, something that the enterprise can control, is quite relevant. It's also about security. So going with an end-to-end SD-WAN model could make sense as well. Of course, it's an additional cost. So right now we are exploring this kind of topics. We already had some projects with customers buying, for example, Meraki solutions from us to equip the people working from home. So this could be a relevant solution. We are also looking at this. It's really mentioned. It's also this evolution towards SASE. It makes also sense to look at it, and we are looking also at this with our SD-WAN partners, and especially we have recently introduced Fortinet in our portfolio, and they have quite interesting solution as well, with small boxes that would fit this kind of requirement by mixing all in one box the router function, the Wi-Fi, and the security. So quite attractive, possibly quite attractive option for people working from home. Today, I would say it's still something is still difficult probably to measure what is the market potential going on that. We are of course willing to work with customers on opportunities to test that. We know also that in the US there is lots of interest for that, but in many cases the market in US is different because the local provider, the cable and fiber provider, they don't necessarily provide a box with everything, the Wi-Fi. So adding the Wi-Fi is somehow something that is more making more sense from quite logical for the US. But well, in Europe, it's also something that we see to improve the quality, improve the security. And even some simple thing, I want to have a corporate network at home. I want to include my printer in these corporate networks. All this you can do with this addition box that you put within your home, and you can also separate, maybe a bit easier to avoid any. For example, if you have your kids going on Netflix at the same time, so you can really have a clear separation of the traffic, of the flow, with different Wi-Fi networks. So in terms of performance, it could be also an interesting point.
That's definitely something we've all encountered working from home, I'm sure, is someone else being on your Wi-Fi and someone else watching Netflix whilst you're trying to be on a video call and everything failing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a difficult situation. We've got a couple of seconds left in the call, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to draw it to a close. I really was interested in looking at, the last question was around kind of what's the future of the home office and the office in general. Do we think everyone's going to be working from home? So maybe if you've got a quick 20-second answer, we could go around the group and just say, where do we see the end? Are we going to be full remote working in the future? Are we going back to working from home? And how do you think that's going to change? Soumya, if we start with you.
I think the usual saying comes to mind, actually. Work is what you do and not where you go. So I think it's fair to say that the future of workplace will be one that of flexible working or hybrid working. I think organizations will be looking to optimize their current real estate, look at ways of repurposing or perhaps downsizing the office spaces to suit more dynamic workplaces, whether they're huddle areas or meeting rooms, etc., to enable their teams to collaborate more effectively. I guess the other point I want to touch on is it's not simply a case of technology being the enabler or a solution to flexible working. I think employee well-being is absolutely crucial. We've seen some recent statistics where there's evidence of the fact that remote working is actually causing a lot of burnout. So in my opinion, it is a very careful balance between providing the right technology, the right office spaces, plus making sure your employees' well-being is also at the front and center of future workplace strategies.
100%. And Tim, would you agree with that yourself?
Yeah, 100%. I think working is here to stay. I mean, it has been here for years, and it will definitely stay here while organizations now having the tools and having the policies in place. But if I speak, for example, for Destiny, we don't want to become a digital company where people just log in and have video meetings and then close the PC and go play with the children. No, you work with a company and it's still a matter of face-to-face human interactions together in the meeting room, even in the kitchen, and all of that is still very important for an organization. If I speak for Destiny, I think that's valid for most of the organizations. So it's definitely here to stay, but it will be a balance.
Yeah. And Laurent, to finalize, any other closing thoughts on that point? What the end of the office looks like? We've got to shut down in 1 minute. So
Okay, so very, very quickly. So I agree with this, and I believe it's also the feedback we get from Orange employees that they want to get with a mix, an equilibre, a mix between working from home and working from the office. They will need more, everyone will need more effective collaboration tools, that is obvious. And also the office itself, and people are telling we need to transform the office to make it a real collaboration tool. And today it was not necessarily meant like this. The meeting room, the places, etc., was really meant for having everyone at his desk, etc. And probably there is also a big transformation there to think about the way to rebuild this office and to make it really efficient in this new way of working. So I think it's also something that is very interesting to discuss also with enterprise to see their expectation in this area as well.
Fantastic, guys. Thank you all so much for joining the panel. We've been run up right to the end of the wire here. So can I thank all of you for taking part and joining and sharing your experiences and your thoughts. And if anyone has any questions, please drop them in the chat and we'll hopefully get back to you after that. But thank you to my panelists and have a great day, everyone else. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.